Hey there, welcome to our video on understanding the software development life cycle. So, you may be wondering, what exactly is the software development life cycle? Well, it's the process that software goes through from the initial idea, all the way to the final product. It's a way of organizing and managing the development process to make sure that everything runs smoothly and the final product meets the needs of the user. Software development involves stages, and the stages of the software development life cycle, SDLC, vary depending on the model being used, but most models include the following stages. 1. Planning. The planning stage is where the project is initiated and the overall goals and objectives are defined. 1. The scope of the project is also determined during this stage. 1. A project charter or a project plan is usually created that outlines the project's goals, objectives, milestones, and timeline. 1. Analysis. In the analysis stage, the requirements of the software are gathered and analyzed. 1. This includes identifying the stakeholders, determining the user requirements, and defining the functional and non-functional requirements of the software. 1. Design. The design stage is where the solution is developed to meet the requirements defined in the analysis stage. 1. The design includes the overall architecture of the system, the interface design, and the database design. 1. The design stage is also where the development team creates the detailed plan for the development, testing, and deployment of the software. 1. Implementation. The implementation stage is where the software is actually developed. 1. The development team writes the code, tests it, and integrates it with the other components of the system. 1. Testing. In the testing stage, the software is thoroughly tested to ensure that it meets the requirements and is free of bugs. 1. Different types of testing such as unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing are done to ensure the software is working as expected. 1. Deployment. Once the software has been successfully tested, it is deployed to the intended users. 1. This could include installing it on a user's computer, or making it available online. 1. Maintenance. Even after the software is deployed, there's still work to be done. 1. The software needs to be maintained to ensure it continues to work correctly, and fix any problems that come up. 1. Upgrades, security updates, and bug fixes are also done during this stage. It's important to note that the stages of the SDLC may not always be linear, and it's not uncommon for the development team to go back to previous stages to make changes or fix issues. There are a few different models of the software development life cycle, but the most common one is called the waterfall model. It's called that because the process flows in a linear fashion, like a waterfall, moving from one stage to the next. The stages in the waterfall model are: requirements gathering and analysis. This is where we figure out what the user needs and wants in the software. We'll gather information from the user, and use that to create a detailed list of requirements for the software. Design. Once we have our requirements, we'll start designing the software. This includes creating a plan for how the software will work, and what it will look like. We'll also decide on the technologies we'll be using to build the software. Implementation. This is where we start actually building the software. We'll take the design and start turning it into code. Testing. Once we have a working version of the software, we'll test it to make sure it works correctly and meets the requirements. We'll fix any bugs we find. Deployment. After the software has been tested and is working correctly, we'll deploy it to the user. This could mean installing it on a user's computer, or making it available online. Maintenance. Even after the software is deployed, there's still work to be done. We'll need to make sure it continues to work correctly, and fix any problems that come up. We'll also make updates as needed to add new features or fix bugs. It's important to note that this is a linear model and, in many cases, the process is not linear, and it can be cyclical, and it's not uncommon for the development team to go back to previous stages to make changes or fix issues. Another popular model is the Agile development model. Agile development is a popular approach to the software development life cycle. It's based on the Agile Manifesto, which emphasizes the importance of working software, customer collaboration, and adaptive planning. Agile development is done in short iterations called sprints, and the team will continually adjust and adapt their plans as needed. This allows for more flexibility and the ability to respond to changes quickly. One of the key principles of Agile development is the idea of working in small, self-contained teams. The team is responsible for all aspects of the development process, from planning to testing to deployment. This allows for better communication and collaboration between team members, and helps to ensure that everyone is working towards the same goal. Another important aspect of Agile development is the use of frequent, incremental releases. Instead of waiting for the entire project to be completed before releasing it to the user, the team will release small, working versions of the software as soon as they are ready. This allows for early feedback from the user, and the ability to make changes and adjustments as needed. The most popular framework of Agile development is Scrum. Scrum is an Agile framework for managing and completing complex projects. It provides a way for teams to work together to achieve a common goal. Scrum is based on an iterative and incremental approach, where requirements and solutions evolve through the collaborative effort of self-organizing and cross-functional teams. Scrum includes roles, events, and artifacts that help the team to manage and deliver the product incrementally. Scrum includes three main roles: the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the development team. The product owner represents the stakeholders and is responsible for defining the product backlog, which is a prioritized list of features and requirements for the product. The Scrum Master is responsible for removing any obstacles that the team may encounter and ensure the team follows Scrum's rules. The development team is responsible for delivering the product incrementally. Scrum includes 4 events or ceremonies: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Sprint planning is held at the beginning of each sprint and is used to plan the work for the upcoming sprint. Daily Scrum is a daily stand-up meeting where the team members report their progress and plan the work for the next 24 hours. Sprint review is held at the end of each sprint to review the work that has been done and to demo the product increment to the stakeholders. Sprint retrospective is held after the sprint review, and it is used to reflect on the past sprint and plan improvements for the next sprint. Scrum includes 2 main artifacts: the product backlog and the sprint backlog. The product backlog is a prioritized list of features and requirements for the product. The sprint backlog is a list of items from the product backlog that the team commits to completing during the current sprint. In summary, Agile development is a flexible and adaptive approach to the software development life cycle. It emphasizes working software, customer collaboration, and adaptive planning. Agile development is done in small, self-contained teams and uses frequent, incremental releases to allow for early feedback and adjustments. Scrum, as a framework of Agile development, provides a way for teams to work together to achieve a common goal. It includes roles, events, and artifacts that help the team to manage and deliver the product incrementally. Other SDLC model worthy of mentioning include iterative development. Iterative development is similar to the waterfall model in that it's done in stages, but it's more flexible. Instead of moving linearly through the stages, the team will go through multiple iterations of each stage before moving on. This allows for more testing and feedback, and the ability to make changes as needed. Spiral development. Spiral development is a combination of the waterfall model and the iterative model. Like the waterfall model, it's done in stages, but like the iterative model, the team will go through multiple iterations of each stage before moving on. The spiral model also includes a risk management component, where the team will assess and manage risks throughout the development process. V model. V model is similar to the waterfall model, and it is also linear in nature but with added testing phase, which is parallel to each phase of development. This model is widely used in the field of safety critical systems where the testing phase is crucial. So, there you have it. That's the software development life cycle in a nutshell. It's a process that helps us make sure that the software we create meets the needs of the user and is built in a structured way. Thanks for watching.